This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability, criminal prosecution, and the wrath of the tall man.
Boy!
Thanks for checking out 90ForChill, the podcast with CatBusRuss. This is where I like to give my disclaimer and trigger warnings. And I can't really say I think we get too nuts with this podcast about Deadpool, which I think is pretty cool, with Andrew Tiede, once again, Couchman Bakes. Really all I got to say is it's anime, so let's throw on a anime review right now, and then we will get to the rest of the show.
90ForChill, the podcast, proudly presents to you Ali's Accessories Shop on Etsy's Trash Feature Review.
From acclaimed director Mamoru Oshii. Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence. The highly anticipated sequel to the film that defined anime. Hyper-realistic robots created for pleasure are in revolt. With the Major gone, can Bateau stop the carnage?
And I've finally gotten around to Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence, from 2004, directed by the man who directed the first Ghost in the Shell from 1995, Mamoru Oshii. This is a nice continuation. It takes a while to get rolling. We don't have a character like the Major. Well, basically, it's just that this feature focuses on Bateau and his partner, Togusa. So Bateau was the Major's best friend in the first Ghost in the Shell. Togusa was the human, essentially, brought into Section 9. Basically, they've been partnered to figure out a case where new sex robots are mutinying, killing their masters, and then self-destructing. And it's a case of trying to figure out how these robots have gotten, essentially, ghost, dare I say, souls. The ending is very satisfactory when you finally get the... Well, I mean, now we're getting this spoiler territory. So, it focuses on Bateau, who wasn't really... Well, obviously wasn't the focus of the first film. It was Major Makoto Kusanagi, I think it was. He's trying to... Basically, his biggest issue isn't anything he's dealing with directly. Aside from getting hacked, shooting up Yakuza bars. So a lot more action in this one, I will say. Not as graphic as Ghost in the Shell, violence-wise, but a lot more of it. This got a PG-13 via the MPAA, or the MPA, I can't remember when they dropped an A, the ratings committee. This has decapitations, pretty nice and swift, but, there's blood to be had, so basically I think this one got a PG-13 just because there weren't any nipples. Which was a weird move for the most part when it came to the first feature, but I digress. Yes, as I said, it's Bateau and Togusa trying to crack a case, and it takes them into China, essentially, and we find sinister hackers behind this company creating these sex dolls, and the mysterious reason why that no one is suing them over these murders. So, it's a real, at least it's a real, I would say, murder mystery or CSI, modern criminal television show type plot. And it's nicely concluded pretty fast in 100 minutes. I would say that it does feel slow. It does get took me 2 viewings to get through with it. Granted, I work 2 jobs, so being tired can happen. But it's got some beautiful animation nonetheless, and then there's some weaker side. They lean a little heavier on computer graphics, trying to integrate it in, which was the thing in the early 2000s, maybe in the late 90s, and sometimes it just doesn't feel that smooth. There are moments, though, where it works perfectly. But I will say, like, the opening credits are basically an ode to the original opening credits, where you see the Major's body essentially being constructed. So they try to do this time, but heavily on CGI, so it just doesn't feel very authentic. As I say, it does take a while. There's so much murder mystery, and then you even get some Matrix-type elements when it comes to understanding reality versus virtual reality. So it's definitely a Matrix sequel to Ghost in the Shell. That might turn a bunch of people off, but you get through it and you pay attention. I think it's really quite worthwhile. And I would have loved to see where Oshii could have taken this franchise in a third feature. Instead, I'd say by 2005, we've gotten all the standalone complex, the cartoon, anime, television series, and it just went into a different direction. I think the director was really onto something, and I would love to see it pursued further.
Hello there.
Just a couple of things more about Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence. It does have an obvious influence on the live-action Ghost in the Shell from, I think it was 2017, 2018 with Scarlett Johansson, which I think works. I'm saying it's a good film. I'm not saying it's a great film, and I understand why people aren't going to rush out to it. But it's not necessarily racist. It shouldn't have flirted with that, but I digress. So it establishes a lot of cool visual effects from the live-action movie, which you didn't get in the first film. And it establishes the Bateau relationship with dogs, which is expressed in the second movie, in the live-action movie. So I just appreciate that the people who made the Ghost in the Shell live-action movie did do their homework and then did some fan fiction.
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
Welcome to 90ForChill, the podcast with CatBusRuss. This is your host, CatBusRuss. If you want to get an idea what the next podcast could be about, you can follow my letterbox. The username there is CMDarth, as in Cool Movies Darth. And this week, I am going to once again speak with Andrew Tiede at Couchman Bakes, the TikTok all-star. And we're going to discuss Deadpool using the rules of the Kessel Run. If you remember Solo, A Star Wars Story, Han Solo was trying to act hot in front of a bunch of chicks. I should say confident, but I digress. And says, hey, have you ever met anybody who made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs? And then Chewie growls at him. And I think I explained it in the episode, but regardless. The point is, not if you round down. So, Deadpool from 2016 will be the topic of our conversation. We'll get into some BS wrestling chatter, of course, mentioning some wrestler without mentioning him in honor of Colt Cabana. And otherwise, I think we're just going to have a good time, nice sit down. It's going to be close to a couple hours. And hey, it's always worthwhile with him on the show. And if you want to be on the show, you can send a message to an email, I should say, to russthebus07@gmail.com. That's RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com. Offer me a movie, a theme, a director, an actor. As long as we focus on sub 100-minute material, I think we're going to have a slice of fried podcast gold. Rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps. If you're listening to this via Podbean feed, just 90ForChill the podcast. I wouldn't mind if you switched over to 90ForChill, the podcast with CatBusRuss. I know, it's a little bit of searching, but that'll get you here, and I can be free of the capitalist podcast game. Thanks for checking 90 for Chill, the podcast out, and enjoy your week.
Hi, I'm Deadpool, the other jolly guy in a red suit with a lap worth sitting on, here to tell you happy holidays. In the spirit of this most festive time of year, I've decided to release my holiday cheer all over the world. How, you ask? Well, you naughty stocking stuffers, brace yourselves, because starting today, you're getting not 1, not 2, but 12 glorious days of Deadpool.
The 12 Days of Deadpool starts now. Each day a new site will debut a tasty treat, and on the 25th, the sweetest gift of all, a brand new Deadpool trailer.
So sit back, hold on to your ornaments, guzzle a little eggnog, at least that looks like eggnog, and prepare yourself because it's time for St. Wade to put the win in Winter Wonderland.
Deadpool, in theaters February 12th.
What's this? Is that glue?
All right. Once again, Boomer Siri goes and shows her disappointment in us using this for podcasting instead of commerce. We'll get there. And yeah, I guess it's time to make the chimichangas. So this is 90 for Chill, the podcast with CatBusRuss, and I was about to do the what's my name, but yeah, so and we're gonna discuss Deadpool, which is 50 seconds too long. I mean, I don't think we really need to see, you really have to stick around for Deadpool jerking off a unicorn in the credit sequence. I mean, I don't know why you'd leave the movie theater when Wham's going on, but
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're stretching the rules. As I say, this is a Kessel Run situation, which is the entire reason to justify the existence of Solo, a Star Wars movie. The entire, hey, ever met anybody done the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs? And then Chewie, not if you round down. So this is a minute, 100 minutes, 50 seconds, which is funny because Ghostbusters is the first time we really broke the rule for the podcast.
Yes.
And that's only 45 seconds too long when you really stop and think about it. So, yeah, did the research one night. Man, I wish I had more time to do the research, but, well, I'm sorry to keep bullshitting about myself. My guest this week, friend of the show, quite the contributor, honestly. One Couchman Bakes, Andrew Tiede.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. And this was his suggestion, and he was a little trepidatious because officially the runtime is 1 hour 48.
I checked it before I even submitted. I was like, I gotta check the time because of the rules and everything. And I was actually like, I don't use this word often, but I was actually crestfallen when I saw that it was too long, because I was like, oh no, we gotta figure out something here because
well, I could have used New Mutants, like
yeah, but does anyone want to use New Mutants for anything other than an example of what not to do with a Marvel property?
You see, I was a fan of New Mutants, honestly.
I didn't hate the movie. I hated everything that surrounded the movie. The fact that, I saw the trailer for it in 2015 and the movie didn't come out till when?
2020.
Ta-da.
Yes. You had the studio interfere. Well, I think the trailer I remember seeing was 2016.
Okay, maybe that's when I saw it.
But yeah, regardless, it's like studio backed away from it. Like, we can't do an X-Men horror movie, or were they leaning into wanting to do an X-Men horror movie? So 20th Century Fox didn't know what they wanted to do with it, and then once Disney finally purchased them, they didn't know what they wanted to do with it. So but a lot of fans of Anya Taylor-Joy in that movie.
She was a bright spot in that movie. I think the acting overall wasn't bad in that.
Oh yeah, no, I like Macy Williams in that. that guy from Stranger Things is all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of Alexa. I think it's Alexa Braga. She played the antagonist.
I think that's how you say it. Yeah, but
Right.
don't quote me.
Yeah. There's a fun move. Well, I say fun loosely. Good Simon Pegg deep dive called "Kill Me Three Times,"
I'm not
where
familiar with that one.
it's an Australian movie. Simon
Okay.
Pegg is a hitman in it, and then there's just like a lot of confusion. You had which let's see, it's Liam is the lesser Hemsworth, Chris is the alpha.
Yeah. Well, and then there's a third one.
Yes, it's the third one. It's
Through.
the third one who's really, really awesome in Westworld. Big fan of the series there. Um, he's got the most pedestrian name. Like, I mean, granted, Liam in the colonies, Liam is a pretty common name, but we got rid
I
of that.
can't think of anything he's done besides Expendables 2 and the weird engagement relationship with Miley Cyrus.
She was in. He was in the. He was in the Hunger Games as the. Not to say you should watch the Hunger Games. Like, yeah, the first three movies are okay, and then it just gets like. Luke Hemsworth is the remainder. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, Luke's. So a lot of good. Like, I think Brian Davidson, the guy from Cocktail / FX, is in it too. I mean,
okay.
it was a Redbox rental, and honestly, honestly, kind of forgettable. But Simon Pegg is a hitman, and it's definitely should have sold a lot of people on it. Like,
So, they did this with Hot Fuzz too, and I think that's what the best thing about Simon Pegg is. Simon Pegg and insert anything traditionally macho is hilarious.
Yeah, no, most definitely. So that's but let's see. So I ended up taking a lot more notes on this. So I did last week I had so it worked. My work schedule, obviously. As we finally met in person at my newest job. So did fit in the Zombieland podcast. Thought that went pretty well, but I didn't have a lot of notes on that, honestly. Like,
okay.
And like last night, like, okay, usually it's like, okay, well, I was going to watch Deadpool. This morning was the plan. Mornings on my only day off of the week don't exist. But it's like, oh, and then one of my managers' band, which was had like a single release party at the Rose Bowl last night. It's like, all right, can't fit it there. So, let's see. Yep. So let's see. So I honestly should have led with our conversation about just before getting ready for this podcast. So you sent me a message. Are we still on for 3 p.m.? And then I just composed, okay, I'm watching it. I mean, cramming it in right now. And it's like, should I be more specific? Cramming DP in right now. And you respond with love the pun. It's like, oh shit, that was so good. Like,
yeah, I mean, that was a perfect Deadpool style quip.
Yeah, definitely. So this indicates he influenced the movie. So I guess Zombieland doesn't quite have the influence. I think we basically said Zombieland was the Ghostbusters of the 21st century.
Yeah, I mean, because you would expect some similarities because they were written by Paul Rhett and Reese, something or other.
Something like that. Yeah, I didn't think too much about the writing because Ruben Fleischer was like, this was his only undisputedly good movie.
Because they wrote both of these films, and is just, I mean, Ryan Reynolds obviously came in and helped with a lot of the Deadpool stuff. Because basically at this point they're really one and the same, even in the comic books, because there's so many references made to Ryan Reynolds in the comics.
Right. Yeah,
What was that? I think my favorite one is that looked like Ryan Reynolds was bit by a radioactive shark pay.
I don't know if you said Ryan Reynolds now that I think about it, but somebody being bit by
Yeah,
a radioactive Sharpay. Um, but yeah, it's so I was basically saying, oh, Zombieland's kind of the Ghostbusters, just because
yeah,
the characters don't actually change. There's no journey. It's just let's laugh for 90 minutes or 100 minutes,
yeah.
45 seconds. Okay, so but with Deadpool and of course all the references and of course making a double penetration joke inadvertently, shot him Malort. It's like this is the first time I gotten to get shit faced during a show in God knows how long.
Oh wow.
It just doesn't feel right doing it when I'm drinking scotch, but so it's one of those like of course they made a big deal in the marketing early. So I was talked to my one of my best friends in Peoria when he was bartending, and he brought up like, oh, I have no worries about Deadpool, this translation, because it was based around the viral marketing, and what he was talking about was the not the leaked footage, which
Right.
wasn't really leaked footage. It was just Reynolds throwing the pitch out there.
Yeah.
The Mario Lopez interviewing Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
And like, oh, I'm so glad it's going to be a PG-13 rated movie. You want to appeal to the kids, and eventually Deadpool goes and knocks out Mario and says, don't worry. Can't remember the name of Slater's girl. And
Jesse.
Yeah, don't worry, Jesse, he can't hurt you anymore.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch.
So, but I don't know, like after you get Once Upon a Deadpool, I did see that in theaters, and it's like, and just our looseness on what you can get away with as long as you bleep something,
less blood,
right?
Stuff like little things,
right? It's kind of like, and I think Deadpool definitely needs the violence, but there's not a lot of obscenity. Like Deadpool, I was reading Deadpool comics before I saw the movie. Not a lot of cursing in it, so it's kind of like
no, but they do have a generous a generous sprinkling of the F-bomb in this movie from characters, not just Deadpool.
Oh yeah, right. But I'm just saying he wasn't really.
They use that word in every connotation possible.
Yes, no, this is a Scarface situation. It's a learning experience for those kids out there. Like, so I don't know. I mean, I'm just your typical white guy, so I don't know. So Scarface's influence is more of an ironic thing, I think, to the millennials and Zoomers out there instead of no, this was something important back in 1983. And granted, I was only 3 when it came out, but I do hang on to my just at the end of Gen X status. And never mind living in downstate Illinois. Like everything's 5 to 10 years behind, so it's like, most millennials down here are first half of millennials are Gen Xers essentially.
I would say the town I'm from in Indiana, we've just crossed into the 21st century this year.
Well, that's because of the daylight savings time thing, but
I live in Eastern time zone. That's where I was from.
Right, I know, but I'm just saying, like, there was always that weird. I mean, you have that math, but then they didn't do daylights for a while, so I was confused because
I actually grew up. I kid you not, I grew up about a mile from the timeline, so it was if I had wanted to drive to this town 20 minutes away, it was an hour behind me.
Right. Yeah. I did that once. That screwed me up once when I was trying to see KMFDM in Indianapolis. Really, I got to see KMFDM set, and I don't think that was one of Ogre's strongest sets. He was opening for him. I think Ogre, for the non-dark music guys, is basically he's the guy. He's the grave robber in Repo the Genetic Opera, which I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, I want to do that one." A lot of just can never line it up. So, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of violence in the Deadpool comics. There's still a lot of violence in
Sure.
most comics, but I would say Marvel and DC have pretty much stayed away from excessive cursing from my experience. So that's why I'm saying, like, we could, we could have probably sold it to the kids, and which excuses Deadpool 3 because Disney's obviously not going to release an R-rated.
Contraire mon frere.
Ah,
Kevin Feige himself has said, we going for the R.
okay. So, well, I mean, we got what it's supposed to be.
Do I think it's going to be as graphic of an R as the other two? Absolutely not.
Mhm.
But they're going to push the line just enough to get the R to keep the fanboys happy.
Yeah,
but still make that Disney money.
Right, and I think they've actually lined up a bunch of I mean, I don't want to sound, insulting. Female writers, though, I think it was, or at least that was the initial proposal.
I think I do believe that they have added some names I do not know. I apologize. Yeah, I think they are. I think they are going to add some female writers to the stuff, but that doesn't bother me.
No, it doesn't bother me at all.
As long as they stay true to the spirit of the character, I don't give a damn who writes it.
Well, and I think it's actually, if anybody's going to have a great understanding about how to make Deadpool palatable, it's women who love comics.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. I was actually trying to do a little research. What was Lady Deadpool, which is just a parallel universe?
I believe it's just like you said, parallel universe where Deadpool happens to be a lady.
Yeah, Wanda Wilson.
Yes.
Which is like, oh, well, now it's just going to go me on a tangent. Like, oh, and obviously it's wrong, but it seems so much simpler when we always just presumed, like, when somebody went converted from one gender to the other, that, and it's, I guess, I don't want to mock Elliot Page, but it's like, sure. Ellen, the masculine is Elliot. And that's not how that's not how things typically work. It's just like, don't even want to get into the Family Guy angle on that one.
No, I don't think they wanted to do that, honestly.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, it's like, I guess the problem is more of the association with what is, shoot, getting myself into a lot of things, like, I can't remember. So I guess that really just says how well it worked out for him. I'm sorry, for her. The gubernatorial run in California didn't help Miss Jenner, but
no.
Yeah. So enough about talking about ironically X-Men. So okay,
I see what you did there.
Yeah, if you can nail the segue, it's gold. All right, so okay, enough with the PG-13. I'm just saying, like, would I want this PG-13? No, not at all.
No.
It's like, I guess it's my nephew being a hockey player. I really want to show him this movie just for the Zamboni sequence.
Yes.
Yeah.
That brings up to one of my favorite things. Like, they did like 4 montages in this movie, the Zamboni scene being part of one of those montages. And I think they are all done so well to tell what they were trying to tell in that 3-minute chunk of montage.
Right. Oh, I mean, this movie's first act is 1 hour 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Essentially. Like, it's the origin story. There's
mixed with a really great action set piece.
Right. But I'm just saying, it's like, yeah, then the second act happens once we Wade gets dropped off at Al's place, and
yes,
and then it's like 15 minutes. Okay, yep, they kidnap Vanessa,
and let's wrap this turkey up.
Yeah. So, I guess that might make it the best origin story.
I really enjoyed the origin story because, like I said, it was interjected with the bridge fight scene, so it didn't feel like your typical. We have to start here, wait for all this stuff to happen, and then we get our hero guy.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like
I'm
this
looking to
movie.
use Spider-Man 1.
Well, yeah, no, Spider-Man, and I love Sam Raimi, but
It took a
yeah,
long time to get that Spider-Man suit on screen.
right. Well, I'm just saying, it's like, oh, well, it was the first. It's like, no, X-Men did it 2 years earlier, so
Yeah,
no excuse for that. Which honestly, I think Marvel really did something great with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It's like,
I mean, as much as I get how pivotal it's the cornerstone of the entire Spider-Man character, the whole Uncle Ben stuff is. By the time that those movies had come out, we'd seen it.
yeah.
A lot.
So right. So it's and honestly, a lot of podcasts have told me, yeah, oh, it's gonna be great after No Way Home, and I have not seen No Way Home, but like, oh, and it's back. Well, it's just like I hear them say, oh, it's back to Peter not knowing, Peter just being Peter Parker. He's got to start from scratch, and it's like, I don't know if I wanted that. If that's how the
I don't know if I wanted that, but I'm not gonna hate it.
I don't know. Well, I gotta watch No Way Home. If it wasn't for because I did not see, honestly, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man was the only thing I saw from the franchise.
I have not seen either of the Andrew Garfield ones either.
Didn't see any of that, and I never got around to Spider-Man 2, and then just the word of, and I would say, oh, emo Peter. It's like, no, I was out on 3 once I heard they're lining up 3 villains.
I watched it, and it was one of the very first movies I walked out of in a theater, just being like, "What the hell?"
Okay,
it did not leave it. Yeah, a lot of ones like I'll start off feeling really good about it, and then eventually, like the rose-colored glasses will fade away, and then I realize, no, Green Lantern was a horrible movie.
Oh well, you see, that's just an interesting statement because I've never walked out of a movie.
I've never walked out. But
okay.
When I walked out of the theater.
Oh yeah, no. The first time, like my friends were saying, "Oh, this is awesome," was Swordfish, and I'm walking out with them. It's like, no. One, you waste.
There was only 2 reasons I watched that movie. Thank you, Halle Berry.
Right, but you could have gotten that. Like, what? If wasn't she showing him off in The Last Boy Scout? Back? Oh no,
negative. Negative Ghost Rider. She was just in very skimpy lingerie. Swordfish was the first movie she ever did nudity for, and they had to pay her a butt ton.
But that's kind of weird because she won the Oscar that year for Monsters Ball, and that's like,
which was the second movie she did nudity in.
But that was kind of like that's something I've always bitched about sex scenes, like nudity. I'm all for. Like,
sure.
Yeah, throw it in wherever you want. Like, no, I mean my script for Main Event of the Dead. It's like we start with a bunch of independent wrestlers arguing about my theory that, at least when I was a kid, I could not differentiate between Kurt Russell and Jeff Bridges.
Okay, I can see it.
Right, and I made an entire, like, this is my Like a Virgin scene, essentially.
Gotcha.
From Reservoir Dogs. And then my characters, I name all after colors as well. So I do my best. Like, this is, it's a no budget movie. This is like, I quit writing my indie wrestling dramas about my life, my experiences. Like, no, I haven't died of a heart attack in the ring, but it was like, it's tough for me to rewatch The Wrestler just because of my experience in the business. And it's like, yeah, I've had that discussion, and but so we go through that, and then it's like, oh, end credits, well, opening credit sequence, oh, we're gonna do a montage, we're gonna have strippers and everything. Like,
sure,
because the entire premise is a bunch of nobody independent wrestlers have been conned into wrestling zombies. No, yeah. Sorry,
that old chestnut,
Yeah. sorry, Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies, a movie that I think I beat screenplay wise by a half year. But no,
Nice.
I don't have any friends, so there goes the entire like. But that was like I made it clear that I wrote this movie. Like, do I have a lawsuit? No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want somebody like going back through the podcast and saying, "Well, Russ claimed to have created Dead or Alive." No, a 14-year-old Russ Stevens sent Tecmo an idea for a video game, written in pencil. I was 14, like, but like, oh yeah, the Tina character. It looks a lot like Vendela from the 1994 swimsuit issue. And Tina, that's a nickname for Christina, the girl I was obsessed with. Which I got notes about that when we get there. Yeah. I don't know. As I say, I had a great childhood. I was officially a member of the Cubs organization for a day, thanks to Milk Duds. I came up with a video game. And people tell me, "Oh, you actually went through with a professional wrestling career. How many people can say that? And how many people can chicken out?" It's like, yeah, but I could have done so much more with that if I like. I don't know. I went to my parents' house last weekend, and there was to see the. I guess I'd say the Peoria Rivermen. I don't know if they end up moving to Pekin. I think they'll be the Central Illinois Flying Carp. Like they came up with that joke gimmick this season, probably because the city, like the guy who manages no, I don't like sports there. We can make more money selling live shows. It's like, then you have an empty arena 300 days a year. So
yeah,
I don't get that. It's like my mom washed some, my mom still does my laundry. And she saw my Hot Topic Stinger jeans that were half black denim, half red. I don't know if it's not gingham, plaid.
Yeah.
You cannot wear this when you're around us. It's like, I go and show it to my little sister. Like, you think these are that offensive? And she's giving me a look, and my mom says, "Oh, that's somebody who didn't get enough attention when they were a child." And I'm mouthing, "That's true." Like, so that explains my wrestling career. No, I don't really blame them. It's like there was a lack of a support system, but it's not necessarily their fault. It's me not being an outgoing person, I suppose. And then you got a lot of egos in the wrestling business. Like, oh, no, we're working independent shows. Why would you want to move to Philadelphia to train under CM Punk or Bryan Danielson?
Exactly.
Like, and I could blame my little sister too. Oh no, I need a roommate. Well, I guess after the the original ROH owner got Chris Hayes, like, yeah, no, that sounded like a good move at the time, but it took me another 2 years to find a good trainer, and then same time I'm dealing with heroin addiction, not my own. So codependency issues. Like, in other words, go get a therapist the moment you get out graduate high school. You don't have to go all the time, but bi-monthly is probably a good thing for anybody. So, all right, enough about me. So, but joking about the time wise, like, I think we could have got rid of that brief scene where we established Ajax as an arms dealer, essentially.
You mean the scene that basically that had a neon flashing sign? This is a bad guy because he's British, eating an apple, and there's guns.
Right. And we know. I think if you're going to see Deadpool, like, Deadpool had the advantage of having the smartest comic book audience anticipating it. So that's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, we didn't need, like, cut that scene out. Boom.
I didn't hate the scene, but yeah, if any scene gets thrown up on the chopping block in this entire movie, sadly, yeah, I guess it's going to be that one.
Right. I mean, I guess you kind of like you'd have to rework the Dopinder introduction.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, which credit to the sequel, they really did a lot to flush out the characters they had from the previous one.
Oh yeah.
Like, I love Dopinder's arc in the second one.
Yeah, because I think because you see his reactions later in the movie when his cousin does get whacked when he gets rear-ended in the cab,
Yeah,
and you see he's kind of like mortified that it happened, but slightly like, oh cool. And then the entire movie is just this bloodthirsty cabbie
yeah,
wanting to kill something.
right. I want some more. Good thing I
Yeah,
can't do. Good thing I can't do.
the creepiest Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten? Kirsten?
I don't know how you say it
No,
either.
no, that was a Deadpool. That was a joke in Deadpool.
Oh
too.
yeah, duh.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
here I am.
Yeah.
On the jokes.
So, yeah. All right. So, and I did just make a note, like, again, trying to shorten the movie just by that little bit. It's like, well, if we had actually had opening credits again, though, this is like this is a movie for smart
Yes,
nerds.
and that opening credits scene of that movie, I would put up against anything ever made in the realm of trying to be a clever opening credits scene because you're just coming in second place now.
Yeah, no, there's nothing that's only, and I would say, well, Deadpool 2 would be a close second, but we already saw the act, we already established the act. I thought there was more of a John Wick influence in that one, but then it's like, I know the director did stunts in Deadpool 2.
Yes.
Like, but he wasn't like the stunt coordinator. He just like,
he was just there.
Yeah, like
doing stunts.
Yeah, like, dude, you just directed John Wick 2 the year previous. Like,
yeah.
You're bored? You're like
directing. I mean, it had to be boredom.
I know, but you're directing the most exciting action franchise. Dare I say in history, honestly, with the John Wick.
I would, yeah. I mean, maybe if you're a fan of like that 1970s hard boil stuff, I guess you could go with the Bronson flick. They remade it with Bruce Willis.
Death Wish.
Death Wish. The
but
Death Wish series.
There's no heart behind the Death Wish series.
No. Well, no. Because
Yeah.
that was a sign of when it was made.
Right. I like the Bruce Willis remake. I thought it was like it's a Death Wish movie. Like Eli Roth did not miss the mark on it.
Right.
I mean, it's just there's nothing to the franchise. Like maybe if you could have figured a way to get Jeff Goldblum into that one, like he was in that was one of his first roles.
Yeah.
So there's but let's see. Again, this is a movie that does support my anti-gun statement, though. Like, you saw what he did with 12 bullets, and he even brings it back up. You got 3,000 rounds here. Well, we all saw what he did with 12.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe not the maybe semi-auto, since like, you know, I don't know if Deadpool could have got that done with pulling the hammer back.
No, he definitely wouldn't be able to do that on a single action. No.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I'm just saying, like, all right, maybe everybody can have a Glock, I guess. It's one of those, like, I can't deny how cool, like, it's more of a discipline thing for me. It's like, I can't deny how cool guns are.
It is just, it's a former firearm salesman. It is all in the safety in which you use the tool and the education of the people using the tool. And there are some dummies.
Right, there are some dummies, but I can't, like the power. It's
yes.
Which is just one of those, like, there's so many people who should not have said power. Just so that's let's see. And you do have to, like, the opening fight scene is like, you gotta appreciate Deadpool enjoying the little things, because I mean, he really taunted the guy he put the cigarette lighter in too.
Yes.
Like, he's laughing at him after he's kicked him out the hatchback.
Well, then, even when getting pummeled himself, he still, gets his head pushed into the back of the seat in front of him.
Yeah.
Rich Corinthian leather.
No,
he never he never misses an opportunity to be like, hey, funny.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Scorsese needs to direct an action comedy.
Don't get me started on Scorsese and Coppola and all those guys of his ilk.
Well, Coppola's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, but he thinks the same shit that old Marty's saying. Come on.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of in the Marty camp because there's just way too much maximalist cinema, in my opinion. And
I agree that we may be getting oversaturated with some of that stuff. To say that comic book movies aren't even cinema.
Oh, there's a lot. Well, to say they're not cinema, that's a little extreme. But
I would say, dude, get invested for 10 years like I did. Watch Infinity War. Watch what happened in that. No spoilers. And then you have to wait a year for the resolution. Kiss my butt. That pulled at heartstrings I didn't know I had.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. It's like, you see, Back to the Future 2 and 3 kind of screwed that up, I guess, since they released the movies 3 months apart.
It was really quick.
Yeah, and I guess they just didn't realize. We're still selling the second movie. Why are you doing the third? And I guess the Matrix.
The second one, I think barely hit VHS.
Yeah,
maybe.
And then, right? No, gosh, that was still the time where I remember, like, a year later, I finally get my copy of The Living Daylights, my first James Bond movie.
Yeah, because like back in the day, it took like almost 6 to 9 months for it to hit VHS, and then usually around a year after it was released, 13, 14 months, that's when you'd see it on like Showtime,
HBO, Showtime, right?
Within 2 years of a movie being released, it's on FX.
Oh, probably
Tuesday afternoon.
Probably even quicker now, especially with the streaming. Like,
yeah,
I mean, like, I had to see John Wick 4 in theaters just because, like, Lions, I'm not going to pay for freaking Epics. I guess is the real reason, but I don't trust them to do that. Like, I mean, I kind of, like, when I saw the menu in theaters, that was kind of like, well, I need to do something for the podcast, so that's why I'm doing it. Yeah, right. I know in 2 weeks it's going to be on some service.
Something.
Yeah. Like if it's Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal, or Paramount, it'll be on some network 6 weeks after the original release. So I kind of like Lionsgate for not having a network, and then on the other hand, hate Lionsgate for not having a network. Like, I mean, my last, I said, wrote it in my blog and said it on my John Wick, Nobody/John Wick podcast. Nobody, like, can't talk about that movie enough with Bob Odenkirk. Like the opening, like, just, again, that's for another former, for a thrill seeker like myself. It's like,
right.
I totally understand every element of that. And that's why I don't have kids and have a cat. It's like, I don't want to settle down. I want the opportunity for violence at all times. So, is that a big Grogu behind you?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't tell.
That's one of the many giant Grogus, or just Grogus in general in this house. My wife is a fan.
Yeah, that's just as weird because my ex-girlfriend, that's like, we didn't really get a chance to watch. She wasn't really going to get invested in The Mandalorian, but she had a cat she called Yoda, and she always thought Yoda was fun. She loved it.
Ask me how many episodes of Mandalorian my wife's seen.
I'm going to go under 2.
0.
Oh. Yeah, I can't say.
She just fell ploy to the social media marketing campaign of this character and the fact that he's cute and all get out.
Yeah, And that's just weird. My ex, like, it's not as cute as Yoda. She loved it, and I'm a Last Jedi fan. Because at least they were going to try doing something with Star Wars.
Yes.
And then I hear, like, I am so behind. I have not watched any of Andor. I haven't watched Mandalorian 3. It's like it's just weird. Like, oh shoot, I have not figured a reason to not do a podcast some week. Like it used to be, skip the first week of the year, because for 2021 it was like, oh, I couldn't figure out how to set up the podcast correctly until a week into the year. Second year I was in Florida, and I always skip my birthday weeks, and then it's like this year, no, birthday comes to me. Like, no, you can do it. And that's just basically because I like to shut off my Facebook, just because I don't want to hear from everybody like, oh, it's his birthday, I better show I care.
Right.
Yeah. Do you remember 2013 when I was going through my really depressed portions? Like, could have used some likes and hug emojis then. So yeah, it's like, oh, I get 2 weeks I can just throw away. It's like, I'm gonna see the Cubs in London in June.
Yes,
I
remember you telling me that.
Yeah, it's like, of course I'm gonna want to put something out that weekend, regardless if it's movie related. Like, so it's just nuts. I do need to, like, I don't know. Starting a second job was not a good thing for the podcast, but it's just taking the time to really play a lot of video games. Maybe once Fight Forever actually gets released.
I just had this conversation yesterday. Don't get me started on that game.
Oh, I'm
so mad.
I don't know what there's to really be mad about. Like, oh, they don't want to screw this up. Like, people are saying the graphics don't look as realistic, and it's like, I don't want them to be that realistic. I want no mercy. So,
well, I mean, it's not so much. It's just the fact they're hem-hawing with the ratings board.
Yeah,
that and the rumors are hem-hawing to see if certain individuals come back in June.
We already know what's happening there. I mean, you're not going to sell out Wembley without said individual.
But I think they could.
It is the hottest wrestling product in the UK.
Yes.
I know that. So, I mean, that's going to get you 70. The other 90, the other 26, it's like...
Yeah, that's true.
I might want to hedge my bet. And I don't know, maybe that gentleman... I love the fact we're going Cabana here and not mentioning said gentleman's name.
Hey.
And gentleman's a loose, bloody term with that guy.
Very.
Yeah.
But look, I will give him all respect for his talent in the ring and his talent on the mic. As a person, cut sling load and we're done, boys.
Right.
Cut your losses.
No, he's a sociopath. And like he sold t-shirts saying that.
Yes.
But it's like, dude, you're just jealous that you didn't actually do what you wanted to do in 2011. Like, you didn't change the world because you tried. You wanted a paycheck.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
Dude,
I never,
eat,
I never wanted the work when I was a wrestler. My aspirations were strictly Ring of Honor, but
right.
If I got that offer, yeah, I'm taking it. Like, that's a secure should be a secure 6-figure deal, which it is not, sadly. But it's like, yeah, that's just don't change my lifestyle. Everything should be fine. That's insurance. And so like, maybe if he would have just approached it like Deadpool.
Maximum effort.
Right. Like, yeah, no, you could probably figure a way to make a cowboy joke in that. No, instead of like, I'm just going to air all my bloody grievances. No,
Yeah.
like, dude. And like, I'm always like, not be, yeah, I don't know. I've met him. um, then, it's like, it took me so long to meet the guy though. Jeez. Like, he wasn't signed when I was working the Midwest. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Like, Cabana will give you the time of day, everybody the time of day. He is the greatest. But
I've heard that.
yeah. So no, Ace was an all right guy. But I've dealt with enough bitches myself who do a lot of biting. But I'd consider them still my best friends. So, but again, codependency issues. So, all right. Let's see. So, all right. So, Deadpool kind of came out just at the right time. Maybe it could have been a little later, like after the Marvel conclusion of the first three phases, because it just does such a great job at taking the piss out of comic books.
It really does. To the
And
whole superhero landing gag, to everything in the workshop.
Right. And when you look back at it, no, it was the perfect time. This was after you were not going to get a better X-Men movie than Days of Future Past.
No.
And
we didn't.
And as it ended up. But I mean, so yeah, from that element, 20th Century Fox may have nailed it. Well, then they did Logan, and I was about to say, well, we did.
Logan gets its own little category for me.
Right. Which again, like maybe I have to go back and watch X-Men Days of X-Men's Origins Wolverine, because I'm just saying, because that's how we're getting Deadpool 3 and everything.
This
just
is true.
Because the relationship between Reynolds and
for those of you not aware, there is a Deadpool-esque character, because it's supposed to be, but it really wasn't.
It doesn't, yeah.
And they make fun of that all throughout this movie.
Yeah, no, and this is this last couple of times, because I had to watch it to see, can I break the rules for this? And then, as I say, cramming the DP in before the show, before this recording, it's like, yeah, this is where I really got to catch and appreciate all of the Deadpool-esque.
Yeah, no, there's an action figure. There's a joke about sewing his
mouth shut. Right. So yeah, it's yeah, yep. All right, check mark that bit in the notes. So yeah, after the first action sequence, though, it's like, I do have some good notes there. Okay, taking the piss. Like, I don't know. Honestly, that makes me further appreciate the idea of taking the piss out of comic book superhero movies. Really makes me further appreciate Kick-Ass furthermore.
Yeah.
And I'd say Kick-Ass might be the best comic book movie.
It's a really good one.
Because, like, it's mocking everything, but it is based off a comic book.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if it is Image Comics that did Deathpool. Kick-Ass, but
I want to say I think it is, but don't quote me.
Right? Yeah. No, I mean, I could go through my boxes of. I was a subscriber to Pro Wrestling Crate for a while, so I've got all my comic books, and I don't have a lot, but in those boxes, like I could figure that out, but. Let's see. I mean, as I got the movie again on in my peripheral, as always, it's like, yeah, we're just introducing the Ajax and Angel, and geez, gosh darn it, why do actors feel the need to go and state their politics?
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you're saying.
I don't, it's not that I don't agree with most actors. My father has stated, well, they don't live like normal people, hence they can say all this stuff.
This is true.
But yeah, if normal people will actually follow through with what actors are suggesting, most actors are suggesting we might be in a better place.
But is a former MMA fighter / stunt woman / actress the person you really want to be taking your advice from?
No, I'm saying not her. I'm saying
Okay.
when the Avengers, everybody tried before the 2016 election to say,
oh, yes.
Yeah. I mean, what did they threaten to do to Mark Ruffalo? Like, if you guys actually do this, we'll do this to him.
Yeah.
Like, that should have been an incentive enough. I don't get it. Bloody Jill Stein. That's actually the problem. Like, well, no, we're in a 2-party system. The only way to get things done is to eliminate one of the parties and then create a new one. Like it happened with the Whigs and Democratic Republicans, and then the Democrats and the Whigs, and then the Republicans screwed everything up. Just going through history there, Democratic Republicans got rid of the Federalists. The Whigs got rid of the Democratic Republicans. Democrats got rid of their Whigs, and then the Republicans. Why can't they die? I mean, geez, Bob Dole made it a long bloody time. We thought he was too old back in '96.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I'm just saying that's like a lot. I guess my problem with Carano is like you're just being a contrarian. I don't know if you actually believe in this stuff. You're just looking for your own fan base, and it's like, I'm sorry, your Kara is not enough to like. I mean, I've seen enough memes out there from Star Wars, like, oh, here's a real strong female character, and screw Rey, like,
right.
Yeah, no. So this is the archetype of a, Carano played an archetype of what you want a woman to be. Rey was a character who was being developed over movies.
Yeah.
Like if she was Jin's sidekick the entire series, maybe. But no, that should have been IG-11, and
that was just for pure comedic reasons.
Right. Well, it's like the only Funko Pop I've bought from The Witcher was the Bard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but here's a question with action movies. It's like, after John Wick, what are you feeling on flippy heroes?
Well, it kind of goes into back to wrestling a little bit with the flippy wrestlers. I think there's a place for flippy stuff and there's a place for not flippy stuff.
Well, Ryan Reynolds has got a heavyweight build.
Yes.
Well, so it's like, I don't need him doing these twisty flips.
The fact that he does a handful of 2-3 twisty flips, I mean, other than like a simple backflip or something like that, but like the corkscrewy stuff.
Yeah, the corkscrews, I should say. No, I will backflip if I got a chance in a match to backflip. I'm backflip.
The fact that he doesn't do very many of them, and it does kind of fit the character as well.
Well, no, the martial arts guy.
Now, if he's doing the whole thing like a Young Bucks match, no.
No. Well, and I guess that kind of brings me to Logan. He was the ultimate X-Men action star just because.
Right.
Well, and granted, he wasn't that talented. He was not the rookie upstart from Regina, Saskatchewan.
Exactly.
He was, he could heal, and he was then given armor. So it's like, it's almost overkill.
Yeah, right.
So, but it's I did have also the thought, like, where's the Mark Dacascos superhero? Because you could believe him anything, like John Wick 3, and then, Only the Strong, if you remember that Capoeira movie from the 90s.
Yes, I vaguely remember that one, but I do remember that one.
And I didn't hate Double Dragon.
No.
And I like Kickboxer 5.
Anyone who says they hated Double Dragon
Yeah, no.
They don't, one, they don't like fun, and two, they weren't a '90s kid.
Well, true, but it's like, you know, yeah, there's no drama in Double Dragon, but it's basically a Marvel movie when you break it
Yeah,
down. Like, that's just it. And I think that's the Scorsese and you know, auteur concept when it comes to hating the superhero movie. It's like, really, what kind of stakes? And it goes back to comic books. I think it was Robot Chicken DC special one. It's like, oh, and Green Arrow is dead, and I don't care. Why do you think we're here? Like, who has not died at some point?
Yeah.
It's like, so that really, there's no stakes in superhero movies. I mean, like, I guess the opening to Infinity War were the biggest tears I would have shed for Loki and Heimdall.
Yeah.
And where is Heimdall's series, man?
I have been saying that since Thor 2.
Yeah, well,
of this guy.
Yes. I mean, Loki got his series after that, and I've seen most of the television. Well, I saw Captain America. I mean, sorry, Falcon and Winter Soldier, good, and I watched Loki, pretty good, and I'm sure. Oh, and I watched WandaVision, like
excellent.
Yes. I haven't gotten around. Like, again, it's a time thing for me. Like, I really want to watch Miss Marvel.
Well, that and the fact that every time you turn around, there's another one.
Yeah,
it is very. Yeah, I am so far behind on myself.
Yeah, no, I like the fact. Like, I don't like the fact that I don't get an annual Star Wars movie, because that's what, like, after I got Rogue One and then I got another Star Wars movie, it's like, this is what I want. One movie a year. That is Marvel's biggest mistake. Is like,
they pump out 2 or 3 series a year and two or three movies.
Like, no,
it's a lot.
Yeah,
an attention span.
Right. So, yeah. But thinking about action sequences is like, why haven't we come up with Kevlar bowl caps? Because I do remember the guy who gets turned into a kebab.
Yes.
But he takes like, yeah, I suppose that's technically possible. That,
well, I mean, to be fair, the bullet did go through 3 other craniums.
Right. Well, I thought he may have been the guy who wasn't counting. Like, again, then there's so much carnage, it's hard to keep track.
Exactly.
Which I guess, okay, that justifies the R rating right there. It's like, because you don't get to say there's so much carnage in a Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
So okay, so, but yeah, Kevlar ball caps. I don't know the science behind it. I know that I think it was brought up on Archer once with Kevlar bulletproof vest, when I think it was during the when Cyril ended up conquering a Central American dictatorship, and he took around, and it was like a Kevlar vest, and later Pam jumps in front of Archer to save him from getting shot a few times. It's like, oh, I just used that vest. That's only good one time.
Yes, and as a person who used to wear Kevlar helmets and vests for a living, they're not comfortable and they're heavy as shit.
Well, I didn't say that was not going to be the case. I didn't know if it was solely a comfort thing. That's like, geez, if everybody was just wearing a Kevlar plate, Kevlar
right.
in the front of their like, new era, get on that. So, other things though, it's like, when you think about the movie and the relationship to the X-Men franchise, not to say that you needed that relationship.
I mean, I think they did a pretty good job of it in the first one. Like, if you've picked up a comic in the last 40 years, you know who Colossus is.
Yeah. That's who was going at.
Get us the one established character, show us some, show us the mansion, show us some set pieces, show us the jet. Like, we get it. We don't need a whole lot of extra fluff. We got it.
Well, it's just one of those, like, I've checked out Daniel Cudmore's filmography.
Yes.
He played Colossus in the X-Men: The Last Stand and X-Men: Days of Future Past. It's like he
And
wasn't.
X2.
Yeah, he was an X2. Yep, he wasn't available. Like,
well, yeah, well, it was the fact that they at this point they were still trying to keep the movies kind of separate.
right, and
Plus,
that goes to Deadpool too. It's like you couldn't have at least let Vinnie Jones voice the Juggernaut.
to be fair, Ryan Reynolds did an excellent job voicing the Juggernaut.
Oh, see, I did not research that far. I did
Yeah,
not know.
yeah. Ryan Reynolds voiced the Juggernaut in Deadpool 2, and
2.
he was also the voice of Dopinder's cousin when the trunk gets hit. The scream you hear, that's
Well,
Ryan Reynolds.
that's yeah. That's just it. This is like I really was one of those haters on Ryan Reynolds forever.
As much as I love the guy, I too can be put in that category.
Yeah, no, I will say Aviation Gin is good stuff.
I will never try it. I don't like gin. The two times in my life I've gotten violently ill off drinking, both of those included gin, and no.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say it's better than vodka, as they're trying to advertise, but
no, because I love vodka.
Oh, that's the worst thing about working at a liquor store is like you leave and you make a vodka purchase, and it's like you're working at a liquor store.
Yeah,
like vodka is the most neutral, which is what it's supposed to be.
Yes, that's why you can do so much with it.
Yes, but no, Aviator is a good. It's just weird, like American gin. It's like
that's like when I hear the phrase Japanese whiskey, I'm like,
Centauri is some good stuff.
Oh, don't get me wrong, it's good stuff. It's
okay.
Just like you couldn't find something else to call it.
Yes, all right. But on that conversation, it's like I really do need to get around to Haku vodka.
I've not had that one. I've heard.
No, I haven't either. I haven't either. But it's like I think it's from the Centauri group. And it's like it's called Haku.
Yeah,
as a wrestling guy. Yeah, I mean I know Haku's Tongan, but it's like, I mean, like, yeah, the BizCliz. I mean, that's the reason why Tongans are still relevant. So, actually, like I was saying, like when I got to the my manager's band late last night, it's like, well, I had to go and make some dinner, and then it's like, well, my fire stick was the only thing that I could find dynamite on. Tony, I was paying $4.99 a month for my and I used a VPN to watch it whenever I wanted to.
Right.
On Fight. And it's like, yes, I know the ratings are important and everything, but come on. I'll pay you $9.99 to watch Dynamite whenever I wanted to a month. Like, and so, like, give me a number. And I was talking to another guy who was like, oh, lived in Champaign way longer than I have, who had Tony Khan stories. So,
yeah, I say as I venture out into the world of Champaign-Urbana, I will pick up the occasional Tony story, and they're interesting.
Yes. So, but it's like, so I had, but New Japan's like they're not on Apple TV and they're not on any other app, but they're on Amazon. So I decided to watch Okada versus Sonata last night.
Oh,
and it's like it was a great match. I'm surprised they put Sonata over with one of his finishers. Like it's Okada. Like he gets the kick out of one of them, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like it'll be interesting because I do my own little blogs, the Disgruntled Wrestling Real World Champions blog. Like Roman Reigns has been the successful poser champion for the past going on 3 years now.
Oh, don't get me started.
Like it was a current disgruntled champion is MJF.
Yeah.
Then it was Jay White.
Yeah.
So when Okada beat him, like, no, I'm not going to give a title swap. Like, so that's why it went to MJF, and then I put it on Claudio for a bit. I think Jericho may have a reign, and it's still like, no, screw the WWE. The Universal title never meant anything.
They tried. I will give them. They tried.
Yes.
But
no, the moment you figure, well, we got to get Goldberg on the card somewhere.
That was pretty much when everything started to go south.
Yeah. What do you think about the new World Championship belt? I don't think it's as bad as everybody's saying.
No, I mean, they're obviously trying to go back to the big gold belt.
Yeah. I like the lion.
With an obligatory.
If it wasn't a really big, like if it wasn't like 3D.
Yeah, I would say it's not even the fact that it's on there, the fact that it's coming off the title. Like if they just would have engraved it in there, that would have been fine.
Have you not seen TNA's titles? Like those look good until you put the silver TNA on top of like, oh yeah, let's play. Like, oh, that's a great plate.
Yeah.
Like super glue a logo over that shit. Jeez. Never mind, you're with Endeavor now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like the current UFC belts, but their sound.
I haven't seen the UFC stuff. It's only I know what the new belts look like.
So yeah, they're not nothing to shout home about. I do like my UFC. I do have a old UFC championship belt. We're talking the, we're not going back to the white guy.
Yeah, not that one, but like the one that Couture carried.
Yeah, right.
The big one. It had a UFC logo on it. Yeah, that wasn't bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that's stupidity of indie wrestling, I should say. So back in 2004, as I'm going through my transition, like I should really be moving to Philadelphia instead of entertaining the people I got to know.
Yeah.
Well, they just fired our guy. He wants to start a promotion. I think we can do something. And it's like, all right, well, I can come up with the funds at the time, pre-heroin addiction, which wasn't mine. It's like, yeah, all right. And that's like, okay, we got the idea. Yeah, cool. All right, well, I can get a cheap title belt right now. So I have the championship belt, which we were going to go paint over or whatever, but it's a UFC heavyweight championship that I got for under $150 off High Spots. So, yeah, and I do have a replica belt collection now. Like I got the NWA Television Championship. We're talking the red strap.
Yes.
And the unauthorized logos of the networks. And I do have an FTW Championship belt. The Winged Eagle FTW Championship belt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so keep meaning to bring that out to like trivia night, like especially the FTW. It's like, yeah, screw you. We know we're the champions. All right. So, yeah. Okay. So got the Colossus. Here is the thing though about this movie, and I think the influence it had. This did inspire my ex-girlfriend's pizza order.
The olives and pineapple.
Yes.
Okay.
It makes sense to me. Like I'm not an olive guy, but
I see. I'm not either. Now ham and pineapple pizza, I will eat that all day, every day.
Yeah, but I'm anti-pineapple in general. Like on pizza.
Like I said, I'm still your friend, but I don't know why. But that take, I mean,
no, it's more of a principle thing.
Sure.
Like, I've eaten plenty of pineapple on pizza. I'm not denying that. We had vegetarian back, like in hotels, like pizza delivery places will give you a one topping pizza if you sell some, if they come and deliver so many pizzas. And I had a vegetarian coworker, so pineapple it was. And
there you go.
I'm not saying it was bad. It's just like, yeah, it's like salted caramel. Like I want that. So in theory, I'm not an olive guy, but in theory, this makes more sense to me.
I agree. In theory, it does.
But no, that brings me up to a conversation I had. Like I one day I came back to work and I have a like my most reliable coworker is gay, and like may have gone to Chick-fil-A, and it's like, forgive me, Cody, for I have sinned. Yeah, well, I don't know. And then it's like, well, look, it could be said that killing is a hateful act in general. So I hate chickens. And so, no, I don't. I love chickens for the wrong reasons, I guess. But if murder is a hateful act, then it's like, why not add that extra level of hate?
Let me channel my Briscoe brothers here for a minute. As a guy who's raised chickens, it makes me enjoy that chicken sandwich so much more.
Right. Well,
chickens are dicks.
I guess that's how Chick-fil-A should be selling their product now.
Yeah, I mean the stuff with the cows is funny, but just say, hey, chickens are jerks.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just like saying, like, oh, you might hate homosexuals, but have you
ever been chased by a chicken through the barnyard and got your leg cut the heck up?
Yeah. That's what real hate is.
That's what hate is.
The most hateful thing I have about Chick-fil-A is them selling ad time on Sundays. Like,
yeah, if I can't go get some nuggets on Sundays, keep your stuff off TV.
Right. So, okay.
Yeah. You don't get the market during NFL games.
Right.
No.
Can't wait for Raising Cane's to finally open downtown.
Dude. I've only been the one once. It was the one up by Wrigley last year. We went there after the game, and yeah, my wife is like, honestly said, like, hey, you want to drive up there so we can go to Raising Cane's? Like the worst traffic in the world to me is in Chicago, and I have been through Atlanta, I have been through St. Louis, and I've drove in the Middle East. I felt safer in the Middle East than I do in Chicago.
Oh, you see, I guess I just got used to it from my time wrestling wise. Like,
I think that's all it is. I think the people that are from there, they just become numb to it, and that's fine. You adapt to your environment.
Right.
I'm from a town of 1,000 people and 1.5 stoplights. That ain't right.
No, I know. As I say, if I wasn't in the wrestling business, and no, I would not have. It's let's just say this. I know they had them in the Quad Cities, so my little brother drove to a Raising Cane's with some friends on a whim once. Just because, we'll drive to Moline to get this chicken.
We will drive. We'll get a wild hair, and we'll drive all the way down to Springfield to go to Golden Corral.
Oh, I'll drive to Springfield for Hooters. That's the only one left around.
Yeah, they got rid of the one here in Champaign area.
Yeah, and Peoria and Bloomington. I
got out of my 20s, I kind of got over the whole Hooters thing, I guess. I mean, the food's okay. The ambiance is whatever.
Oh, well, no, I'm not there for the ambiance. I like thickly fried wings and a sauce that is really inoffensive. I mean, it's good.
Depending on which one you get.
Well, I'm just I always do 3 Mile Island, and it's like they call this hot.
I did I think I did the one above 3 Mile.
I think 3 Mile's the worst.
I thought there was one above it.
I thought 3 Mile, 9/11.
Well, if it's 3 miles the worst, then you're gonna take umbrage with me over my next statement. I ate a plate of those. They tasted like battery acid. Then I went to the comedy show I was supposed to be doing, and all over behind Soma.
Okay. No, I'm not taking homage because it's still Hooters. Like, I'm not questioning that is a diarrhea factory, as Robot Chicken pointed out.
I swear 3 Mile, if that was the sauce today, I swear they just got the bomb stuff from Hot Ones, which tastes like butt, because I've had that one too.
No, I can't really say I've ever, no, that's my go-to. I'm not saying the back end does not regret it.
Oh yeah.
But I'm saying, it goes down pretty easy. So, so no, I do miss Hooters. Anybody who says anything negative about Hooters, they're not wrong.
No, absolutely not.
Right. So, It's an easier sell to my sister when we were driving back from Chicago because it's like I don't know what she's going to do once I get this Raising Cane's in the same parking lot as my job.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, you want to stop in Joliet to pick up Raising Cane's? No, I had that last night.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I drive her up to Chicago for all the cons. So, uh, yeah, so we're a little all over the place, but that's what makes for a good podcast, honestly.
And honestly, that's kind of par with the course for Deadpool because
yes,
he's all over the place with his pop
right.
culture
references.
Oh,
that's the entire as we're having the conversation. It's like, well, I got to do a little research, but it's like, I think Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool, more importantly, would respect the concept that like, screw your post-credit sequence.
Which all that really was just a really nice little teaser saying like, hey, yeah, we're doing a sequel. Which I love the fact that they announced the day before the movie came out that they were doing the sequel, and then they had that little, nice little nugget tucked in there, and like, oh yeah, we're doing it.
I do want to see what Keira Knightley as Cable would have been.
I saw some, people did concept pictures back then. Now you just type in AI.
Yeah.
I saw some concept pictures. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren, the concept pictures were awesome. I honestly don't think that would have been a bad idea.
No. I mean, I think Josh Brolin's an excellent actor. It's like if he would have won.
I didn't have a problem with Brolin doing it. It was, and they made the joke in the movie.
Yeah.
It was weird that Thanos was doing Cable.
Right. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's. I mean, it's so. But thinking of things I've missed so far, it's like, and I should have brought this up when we were talking about montages. I think I may have. It's like the best sex scenes are in montages.
In my opinion, they did a year-long coital romp through the holidays. That was what, probably a 2.5 minute sex montage.
Yeah, that's just. But I'm just saying, like, it moves the story along. That's why I've always bitched.
It let us establish that these characters are wild about each other, and it's been like a year later.
Right, and I wrote a blog basically saying sex scenes are just the act of laziness for a writer and coitus. Right. I don't have to write 2 pages here.
But this one was so funny. It's like, okay, how can we tie this holiday into Nookie?
Right.
How can we tie it to this one?
Yes, and that's why I'll go back to Monsters Ball. Like that is one of the few that's a necessary sex scene.
Yes. Because that one conveys a lot of emotion, a lot of pain, a lot of all kinds of stuff.
But it was like when I wrote the blog way back in 2007, it's like this is after I'm trying to watch Cyborg 2. That was Angelina's official film debut, Angelina Jolie.
I think so,
yeah. And it's like I'm amazed that Elias Koteas, Casey Jones is the guy who gets to fondle her boobs in this scene. And it's like, no, let's keep this story going. Like,
yeah,
I want to see if Jack Palance ends up meeting up with he's just such a creepy looking actor. He was was it Nero in frickin' The Untouchables? Billy Drago.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like I know he was the villain in I think his first leading role, not leading role, but
main role
was Delta Force 2.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like as the drug kingpin. I really do need to give Delta Force 2 another watch just because of Billy Drago, honestly. I tried watching Delta Force one night. It's like, oh gosh, this is Israeli propaganda to a new extreme. And yes, I know it's a canon movie, but
I haven't seen either one of those.
Delta. Well, when I was studying Taekwondo, I started at school, the Lawrence Black Belt Academy, which eventually became Eastern World in Morton, and it was like um, a lot of people call the guy who started the school Robert Lawrence con man. It's like, that goes with any kind of combat sport, sadly.
Right.
But he like had relations with a kickboxer named I think it was Bad Brad Hefton, and then like the first time I ever watched him fight, he got his ass kicked, and it's like, that's my school. Uh, but I was 9 at the time. It was like my dad would not let me watch actual combat sports, but he would let me watch professional wrestling. Like, I think he was trying to teach me early on fake versus real,
Right.
and you should not encourage real,
Right.
which I can respect. Like, but it's like, no, I mean, I don't know. I've gone on so many rants. Like, oh, I'm a big football fan. Yeah, no, I like soccer just because one, you actually use your feet.
Yeah.
I honestly I love a lot of the XFL rule set. My little nephew was watching a game, and it's like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? It's like, well, because they're like, because in the XFL you get the 1 point conversion from the 2 point, the 2 yard line,
Yeah.
2 point from the 5, 3 point from the 10,
Okay.
and they kind of discourage kicking the ball at all. And it's like,
Oh.
yeah, so nobody's running into each other. They also have you could, instead of the onside kick, you can have 4th and 25 from your 20.
I didn't know they did all that.
Yeah, so you can convert it
Because
first.
I remember back in the original
Oh no, that
XFL,
was all about the violence. Like,
well, yeah, because they didn't do a coin flip. They did that wonderful game we used to do at recess. Kill the
yeah,
guy with the ball.
right, yes, and I think it was after the first week. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
we
let's not do that
actually,
no more. Because
yeah,
the first time they did it on the very first game, dude like broke his collarbone and dislocated his shoulder. It's like, come on. Like, we haven't even had one play of the game, and this guy's out for the rest of the season,
yeah,
if not seriously jacked up forever.
right, yeah. No, but that's my thing. It's like combat sports. These are two people looking not to get killed and to kill their opponent. Granted, we're hoping somebody dies, but at least everybody knows what they're looking for.
Right.
Football is like, we're hoping somebody dies, and usually that means they're not going to see it coming.
Yeah.
Or if they see it coming, they dodge it in some miraculous way.
Yeah.
So it's like, that is car crashes.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love watching football. I played
I'm not
football.
saying, and I played football, and I've gotten more injuries from all my combat sports experience. But
at the same time, yes. Like,
I knew what I was looking. I knew what could happen.
Yeah, but yeah, like when you watch these gigantic people running into each other at speeds that people should not be moving at in the first place.
Yeah. Oh no, I like, and I say that about hockey. I wish we didn't have helmets in hockey. It's like, you want more scoring in the sport. Don't give them all that protection, because they're going to do stupid stuff like dive in front of a slap shot.
Yeah.
Like, oh, because I can do it because I'm protected. No, you're not protected.
Like
if I shot you and you had your Kevlar ball cap on,
it's still gonna hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like, I mean, I get why they wear so much protective stuff in hockey, because you do have that little rubber puck flying around at a million miles an hour and all this, that, and the other. And absolutely, the goalie needs to be wearing 50 pounds of foam rubber. I mean,
no question about that.
Let's not debate. Yeah, the goalie should be there with the Kevlar Captain America shield.
Right. No, that should be a minor league level. Is a goaltender with a shield.
Take away the stick. Just give him a big shield.
Yeah. So yeah, it's So missing a lot of details, and they're about to the finale and on the screen. I do really dig the concept of Sister Margaret's.
Yeah, I think that does go back to the comic.
Yeah,
But yeah, we have this abandoned orphanage that has now become a bar for mercenaries.
right. And most of the mercenaries are cool. These are the guys I'd like to hang out with. Like,
Yeah, I mean, these are the same dudes I have hung out with and drank with in every dive bar in America.
yeah, no, I mean, Booth and Buck, yeah, they got their little, but they're cool with each other after all.
They're cool with each other at the end of the day.
And it's like that brings me up to the stalking bit. As I say, I was obsessed with a girl, but it's not like I did any threats or anything. Jeez,
right?
Where the hell did we get there? Like, dude, I did not win Christina Wenger's attention in high school, and I blame myself. I wasn't good enough.
Sure.
To go and threaten somebody, like you will love me. It's like, dude,
no,
you lost. Like I admit, I'll acknowledge the people saying no. You should if a girl tells you no, you should never bother them again. It's like, yes, I get you're right, but it's kind of like, but then you're giving up on yourself, man. Like I tried my best to be all right. How do I make myself better to win said girl over? And that's not what you should do. You shouldn't be trying to change yourself for a girl. Again, codependency issues. But as long as I feel better about myself for doing something, it's like, I eventually learned that, it's like, oh, well, no, I'm a better person anyhow. So I'll, keep moving on. Oh, yeah. She's single? Well, let me get my pitch ready. But and the biggest kicker about that was like the girl I did fall in love with and eventually died of a heroin overdose. It's like, oh, you were in junior high with me for 1 year when I was obsessing over this other girl. Fudge. But yeah, no, I think it should be standard operating procedure though, if especially with Buck or Fat Gandalf, as they called him. When Buck, she Vanessa has him by the balls, and it's like,
yes, Hakuna his tatas.
Yeah, but he first says, "I'm sorry, I don't have a filter," and then she tightens the grip. It's like, yes, like that's no excuse. You say you're sorry. You acknowledge you did something wrong. You don't try to justify. I think that's a good lesson. I think that should be standard operating procedure, at least in bars.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, bars are like the hockey rink. We should be able to enforce it ourselves.
Yeah, there you go. I'm down with that.
Yeah, I mean, let the bartender assign 5 minutes and 2 minutes accordingly. I got put out in a timeout once for saying, "Oh, you got served." It was a 2-minute. It was a minor
infraction. Minor infraction.
I acknowledge that. I earned it. Yeah. Okay. Here's just a random question: is there such a thing as a good TGI Friday? Sorry, Jacksonville, and sorry to the elite. Which. Yeah. I mean, I've never really had a great. Not to say we have them around Central Illinois anymore, but
no, because they got rid of the one in Urbana. That's where or Champaign, rather. That's where Raising Cane's is going.
Raising Cane's is going across. No, that was the Applebee's.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I got it mixed up.
No, I was never an Applebee's fan anyhow. So, but
I don't have a whole lot of TGI Fridays experiences. They're okay.
Yeah, I mean. Not worth boasting about on your special forces trip, I suppose. And I hope he did not kill Bob.
No, well, he headbutted Bob.
He headbutted him, but I mean...
Yeah, I think he just headbutted him, laid him in his nice little love note to Francis, and just like, okay, go home and rethink your life. Say hi to Dale and the kids for me.
Right. So, it's... But when I did make a note, like, sex scenes are best in montages, I'll go back to actually an old Brandon Lee movie again, Rapid Fire.
I don't remember that one.
Okay, so that's Brandon Lee is a student who ends up witnessing a murder involving the triads and
Okay.
the Italian mafia. He gets like sent to Chicago because that's going to where he'll like basically he's going to get blackmailed. Like, oh, you kicked so much ass here, like you don't think we can charge you with stuff for during this fight?
Right.
So you're going to what is it to you're going to testify against this mob boss you saw kill this guy. And eventually Power Booth knows like, oh, everything's screwed, so he's the FBI agent not playing by the rules.
One of those
Saves
movies.
his butt.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was early 90s. Granted, everything Brandon Lee would have done would have been early 90s.
Yeah.
But there's a sex scene after they go and catch that mob boss, and then it's like, well, he's got to go and get out. Well, they got to either the triads have a violent segment where they're killing off everybody in the Italian mob and the jail and such, while Brandon Lee's getting lucky.
Right.
It's like, yeah, no. Movies, the story is still moving along.
Yeah.
It's
not just, hey, here's a 2-minute break for gratuitous nookie.
Yep.
Now we resume our film. No, the film's still happening while dude's getting nookie.
Yeah. But this just bring me up as my notes. It's like it's one of the after this time it's like, oh, that's why Regina rhymes with fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Catching that one. Like, oh, that's how you say vagina without saying vagina.
Exactly.
So let's see. So I guess we should address TJ Miller. I mean, one, Weasel is kind of as much in as breaking the fourth wall as Wade is.
Agreed.
Like, when he introduces Agent Smith,
mm-hmm.
Like, here's his card. I guess this might further the plot. Yeah.
I don't have any serious hate for TJ Miller or the character.
No.
I do like by the time we get to the second one, though, when someone sets him up to say something, Wade goes, oh God, no.
Yes, yeah. They were gosh. I'm sure Reynolds is an uncredited writer, if anything.
Oh, he's gone so far as to be a credited writer.
Let's see. I mean,
at least in the second one, I know he was.
I got Deadpool 3 writing credits. Rob Liefeld, yeah. Wendy Molyneux, yeah. Lindsay Molyneux, yeah. No, they're great comedians. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a co-writer on 3 at least. It's just one of those weird things. Like, how did Ryan Reynolds know this was who he was? Like, this character was established in 1991. He would have been 20. Was born in 75.
He would. He wouldn't have been 20 yet.
Yeah, it's like
that actually goes back to one of his first comic book roles. We talked about X-Men
Wolverine, but
we did not talk about Blade Trinity.
Yeah, well, do we really ever want to talk about Blade Trinity?
No, but we are.
Triple H was good in it for what he was.
For this one reason. As they're explaining the character to him, someone hands him a couple of Deadpool comics. He goes, "This is who you're really playing."
All right.
And you kind of see like the genesis of that when he's playing around with the Hannibal King character. So by the time, like a year or two later, when they're casting for X-Men Origins, they already had Ryan in mind. That's why they gave him the comic books.
All right. Oh, there we go. So, all right. I mean, no, you can't kill Whistler at the beginning of the movie. Like,
no, that was bunk.
Especially when you took so much time to bring him back for the second one.
Yeah, we kill him in the first one. We'll bring him back in the second one, mess him up a little bit, and then kill him in the first 20 minutes.
No, it's like, yeah, I know. like John Wick did it right. Like everybody says, oh, it's a everything's got to be a trilogy. And John Wick Chapter 3, it's like, all right, well, he beat the high table. Yeah, nah.
Right.
All right, yeah. And John Wick 4 did it right. Like, okay, we could probably keep this going, but we're just going to do an
we could
extra
end it
long
here if we wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. And John Wick 4 is a 4.5-star movie. I'm waiting for it to land up at my other job's new release shelf, and pardon everybody who was hoping to get a steelbook. Not after me, thank you. So all right, so let's see. This was one, honestly, this last couple showings is like the first time I got the shake wake joke totally.
Yes.
Like, this is not a, like, I'd say you're selling an it's an infomercial, except not a good infomercial, like Slapshot, like doing the entire of Slate. All right. The fight with Colossus, was that an ode to the Black Knight?
I could definitely see how it could be considered one.
Yeah. Like,
whether it is or not, I don't have the answer for that.
Right.
I can definitely see how it could be.
Yeah.
It is but a scratch.
Yeah.
Now, all right, big boy. It's only gets worse for you.
All right. Here's an important one, I think. Was all of Wade Wilson's paranoia about his looks in his head? You don't see anybody actually say, "Oh God, what you."
There is that one scene where he's following Vanessa, and there's some people kind of looking at him. But is that how they are looking at him, or is that how he's imagining?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, this is supposed to be New York, I suppose, because X-Men. I don't know how they get the SR-71 to. I mean, yeah, it goes Mach 3, but it's still an hour and a half to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Which there's the strip club is from Vancouver.
And since we have brought up the strip club, we'd be remiss not to bring up Stanley's favorite cameo he's ever done. His words, not mine.
Yeah.
He's like, yes. And the fact that he was just being classic Stanley. Like, I wish the scene could have went longer.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird though. You get blurred women below the waist, at least front side in that scene.
Yes.
Like, it's an R-rated movie. It's not like there's anything interesting being done. Well, as a strip club fan, I mean, there could have been, but
as a guy who used to live in a crappy little all nude strip club in Kentucky.
Yeah, no, I'm a guy who's like, where have you been? They have a cot for you. Yeah, so okay. So yeah, it's like no, I mean, that's like, I don't know, Stan Lee's done it's fun when you get Stan Lee just like, I'm not supposed to be here.
Yes.
That's one thing I learned from Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, the live podcast. Sorry, I'm not subscribing to Smodcast.
Yeah.
No, it's a money thing, Kevin. So it was cool to see it live. That's what got me into the Universal Life Church. I am a ordained minister of that. Yes, I am an atheist. And when Kevin Smith did the ceremony for the wedding they had at that podcast, it was the vows were according to the Green Lantern Corps.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know what, like, I imagine Smith's got to be a big Catholic regardless, like, or at least a practicing.
He says the only time he goes to church is the day before starting a new flick. He'll pull into the parking lot. He don't even go in. He pulls into the parking lot. He prays. He bails.
Right. No, that's why. Like, I had a brief period where it's like I'm trying to figure out religion and everything. So it's like, oh, not saying Jesus was bad. Like, I think all the teachings are great from Jesus. But then he referenced, but everybody says, well, it came from the Old Testament. Or started with the Old Testament. It's like, no. don't read that book or set of books, I should say.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it gave me the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo trilogy, but no. But no, one time I went to Temple, and it's like, well, I remember Garden State, and they go through the entire bit like, oh yeah, they build the temples to allow them to really fill it out during Jewish holidays, but most people don't go. And it's like, I'm sitting waiting, and it's like, gosh, there's not a lot of people here. Like, I did not like. I wanted to see Temple. I did not want to get introduced to the entire congregation in one day.
Right.
I don't want to be that personal. It's like, yeah, I'm bailing. And then it was my little brother, my nephew's baptism, and they go through the Old Testament lesson, and it's like Ezekiel, and it was basically like, you're telling me God needs fans like Liam Neeson's Hercules? I'm sorry, Zeus-seated fans in the frickin' Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
No, I'm out. at least on this faith, and then I discovered atheism eventually. But it's like, let's see. Oh, here's a question, because I have it listed under my longest first act in cinema. Hashtag drive-by. All right. If Wade Wilson can constantly heal, would his bowels even allow for him to be in a position where he'd have to fart?
I would say yes, because it's still a necessary component of human biology to get rid of excess gas.
I guess you're right there. I'm just saying it's
and
like
gas is just the breaking down of food he still eats. So yeah,
right. But I'm just saying, like, I've just dealt with enough gassy people. It's like, dude, you're not living healthy. And I'm just saying that Wade Wilson is, if he likes it or not, is healthy.
Right, but he does eat tacos and chimichangas a lot.
Well, no, there you go. It's all right. Okay, so here's a question: Chicago versus Wham.
I'm gonna go Wham.
I don't know. It's like,
I mean, they're both good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm going Wham.
And Wham was just an album. That's just it.
But we're still talking about it.
Yeah. All right. No, that's fair. I mean, Chicago never had Wake Me Up Before You Go Go.
And Chicago is not responsible for one of the funniest games you can play during the holiday season.
Ah, okay. I'm curious. That game.
You're not familiar with Whamageddon?
No, I'm not.
Okay, Whamageddon it starts on December 1st. You just all you do is just try to live your life. But the second you hear Last Christmas by Wham, that version exclusively, you're out of the game.
Oh, okay.
And people get pools going with their buddies, the championship belts like they do in fantasy football, stuff like people get funny with it. It's quite interesting.
All right. Well, yeah, that definitely. All right. Let's see. Heel factor of Deadpool versus the extreme reflex reactions and no pain of Ajax. I'm sorry. Let me correct that. Francis.
And I don't know if you can choose one, because that's what makes that final fight scene so great, in the fact that they can do whatever they want in that fight scene, because one of them can't die and the other one can't feel any of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why you got axes to the head and knives going through this and being thrown against forklifts and just a very good ultra-violent fight scene, because you can.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That kind of brings the end, though, with the fact that Ajax can't feel pain. It's like the moment Colossus tries his hero monologue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you see Ajax like, come on.
Yeah.
Shoot me in the head.
He can't feel it, but he knows his body's wrecked. He
Yeah,
knows he's a dead dude anyway.
you're right. It's like,
So he just leans that head up on that pillow
yeah.
like, come on, big boy, 5 pounds of pressure.
Right. And just a note on something that qualifies, similar concept, Darkman. I mean, it goes back to Sam Raimi and Spider-Man. Basically Darkman was created because he couldn't get the rights to a comic book movie at the time. And
so make your own.
Yeah. I mean, no, and that's like comic book movies, like you had the Batman and Batman Returns, and then it's like nothing till Blade.
That's not entirely true. I mean, you got you had Steel thrown in there. They would throw in some.
I mean, I like Tank Girl. I've bought it a couple of times.
Girl, we had the Phantom.
The Shadow.
We had the Shadow. We had comic book
Russell.
movies.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, Russell McKay did not you put sand in any Russell McKay movie. He's the guy who directed the original Highlander and Highlander 2. I'm just saying, we start Highlander 2 on the desert planet of Zeist.
Yeah.
It was like, gosh, no. And then he did a mummy movie, which of course, not going to watch it. There's plenty of sand. I know that.
Yeah.
And he did a movie called Resurrection, which is really screwed up and definitely something that, wasn't going to sell in the theaters, but basically a guy trying to reform Jesus by killing people who were sinners but had the names of apostles and piecing the body pieces together. So weird ass movie, but it's like, all right, this is I can see that. And you got Christopher Lambert. I'm there for his Lambert's laugh ever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh yeah.
I think he mispronounced Glenmorian G in Highlander too, but in Highlander, 2.
Yes.
Okay. Was that the Freebirds' only appearance? Did they successfully film the only appearance the Freebirds ever had at Madison Square Garden?
I think so.
Yeah. So I know Andre got him fired right away.
Yeah.
But but Darkman, I mean, it's a similar character to Deadpool in a sense,
Yeah.
It's all about him not looking good is the entire motivation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we could have worked Bruce Campbell into Deadpool.
I don't know if the world's ready for that, but I'm down for it.
All right. Well, I mean, hopefully Deadpool 3 makes a lot of money and I can start writing. All right, here's where you put Bruce in.
Exactly.
And that's a question. I have not seen No Way Home, and the only reason I watched No Way Home was because, Into the Spider-Verse was interesting enough. All right, I can skip four movies I did not watch and probably get into this, which I say Into the Spider-Verse successfully did when they that was my weird phase when they referenced emo Peter.
Yes.
So it's I don't know. That's just we're gonna be my big question now. Is how do we put Bruce Campbell into the MCU? It's
well, it was a Sam Raimi movie, so he did have his cameo.
Oh, and he was in Multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, see, this is what Disney has to sell us on all of these movies. It's and we're going to introduce you to the new set of superheroes for the next Marvel movies. It's
yes.
Yeah, I could give, I knew a lot of people who were Rob Stark fans. Me? No, Jon Snow was far more interesting.
Yeah.
Rob Stark was just prettier. Or let's see, Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. It's why don't you put and we bring Ben Kingsley back for this movie?
Yeah.
That would have sold me on it instead of
Yeah.
like I don't know, if I want a Hong Kong action movie, I'll just watch a Hong Kong action movie.
It was a really good movie though.
Oh no! I've heard nobody say anything bad about Shang-Chi. It's just that's all I'm saying. It's like you can't give us strangers, I suppose. Like
Yeah.
Captain America, everybody knew Cap.
Yeah.
Everybody knew the Hulk. Iron Man, yeah, he honestly was not that highly rated, I guess you would say, in Marvel characters, but we kind of knew of Iron Man.
Yeah, we were familiar.
Right. Guardians of the Galaxy is the anomaly in that.
Yeah, and
nobody
in that first wave, that was really the one.
Yeah.
Even Ant-Man had like some kind of a footing.
Right.
Like, yeah, by the time you get to Guardians, it's like,
who the hell? Yeah.
Like the tree and the raccoon talk?
Yeah. I mean, it's probably going to be my favorite of the first wave. Just because,
definitely.
Like, so it's a space opera, but everybody's Han Solo.
Yeah.
Which is the entire reason I like the prequel trilogies of Star Wars, but it could have used a Han Solo.
Yes.
Like, that's just it. Everybody was a freaking monk. And it's like,
yeah.
Like, even 36 Chamber of Shaolin, we had, like, the guy went to the Shaolin. It's like, we knew he wasn't a pure guy.
Right.
Yeah, so, so, I don't know. Great. Now I'm further pumped for Deadpool 3, and we still got to wait another bloody 15 months for that one.
Yeah.
And I do have a Deadpool shirt. I did not know this was going to be
this is one of many. I own probably 20, 30 some Deadpool t-shirts.
Oh, I did hold myself on Deadpool a bit. I don't know. I had my period where I was into ripped apparel, shirt punch, and T-Fury, where it's like limited different t-shirts for like only available for one day, $12.
Yeah.
My mom hates it. Again, when I bring my laundry, if you buy another t-shirt, Mom, I haven't bought a t-shirt in God knows how long. I don't recognize all these t-shirts. I bought a lot of t-shirts 5 years ago, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there wasn't a problem at some point, but it's cheaper than baseball cards. Jeez.
No kidding.
Yeah. Like that's just it. It's like, you'd rather I take up space somewhere. Yes, I like to collect shit. Come on. The only problem with collecting stuff is that you should really prep yourself to sell it. Like,
yes, you have to have an exit strategy.
Like, yeah, I have a Superman Red Sun Funko Pop. I bought for like $60. I think it's going for $200 now. It's like, do I really? It's communist Superman. Like, how do I part with that? I mean, Lord knows what my CM Punk WWE Funko Pop is going for right now.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's just, a quick search and I'll know, but it's like,
right.
So, all right. Well, definitely a lot of fun talking about, I don't know, when it comes to comic book movies, I'm sure I saw something that made me say there was something better than Kick-Ass, but.
Well, for me, it just kind of boils down to something I posted online after this movie came out. I had I was so apprehensive when I heard that they were making this movie. Because I'm a big fan of the character. Comic book movies have been known to kind of like screw with stuff. And the closer we got to the movie, the more those apprehensions went away when I would hear like, oh, they did this and they're doing this and that. And then I saw the movie, and it's the very first movie. Like, as soon as the credits started rolling, because we went and saw it on opening day.
All right.
I looked at my wife and I was like, "We're coming back tomorrow." Kind of a question, kind of not really. And like, yeah, I loved everything about this movie. I think something I said in that thing I wrote all those years ago was it took my expectations and like a Pat McAfee kick booted those things all the way downfield. Like, yeah, I can't say enough good things about this movie. This was definitely probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yep, and like a Pat McAfee kick, you better make sure you keep an eye on Pat.
Yes.
Like that, he was the ultimate asshole in football.
I love me some Pat McAfee. I'm a Colts fan, so I love them on.
Oh well,
I loved him before he even walked on the field for Indianapolis when he was arrested for allegedly, in his words, swimming in the Indianapolis Canal while very drunk one night.
No. There's nothing to hate about Pat McAfee. It's just like except for the fact that he was a jacked punter.
Yes.
Like, dude, that just screams.
He was such a jack punter that when he started to mess around with professional wrestling, you didn't question it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like when you see him lay a hit on somebody, it's like,
oh yeah, that I know exactly what you're talking about. Where he punted and like he's the last line of defense and he lays them out.
Yeah, no, you're a punter.
Like, and he didn't lay him out with a well placed round the waist wrap up.
No, he blew them up
with a shoulder block.
Yeah.
Punters are not supposed to take out people with shoulder blocks.
No.
And the fact that he starts the Conor McGregor strut off the field.
Before Conor McGregor, thankfully.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm not a big Conor fan.
No, I'm not either.
Proper number. It didn't help him that Proper 12 is a shit whiskey.
If you want to drink an Irish whiskey on the cheap, yeah.
No, you just buy Jameson. It's about like it's not that much more expensive. Like, no, it's like, oh, I'll save you $3. Like, no, thank you. like I'll buy anything at my liquor store that has a tasting just to figure it out.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
we're doing Proper number 12 apple.
Nah.
No, nah.
Is that a real thing?
Yes, it is.
Oh, no, I'm not down.
No.
I'm not a huge fan of when they start throwing flavors in the Irish whiskey like that. Jameson.
No. Flavors are strictly an American thing.
Yeah.
Like, I have a fit. Like, there was another tasting the next week for Doughball whiskey.
Okay.
Which is cookie dough flavored whiskey.
I was saying that's that cookie dough stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm curious. Yeah, I like Screwball peanut butter whiskey. I
like the Jack Daniel's honey and the Crown Royal apple, and
right.
It works for those.
Yeah,
it doesn't work with Irish.
No,
Irish whiskey is Irish whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a Scotch guy anyhow, but it's like. Yeah, it's just. See,
I'm a bourbon man, so.
Oh, that's as is everybody in Central Line. That's the thing I got to learn at this job. It's like no, I have not been drinking my Redemption. I picked that up for the last time we were supposed to podcast, and
yes,
Redemption pre-prohibition bourbon.
Yes,
103 proof, and it's like. And now it's off the shelf, and it's like, oh shoot! Now I got something I have to hold on to and not drink.
Exactly.
Geez. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't cut out for that. I'm just like, but with vodka, does it taste like anything? No.
Well, that's where I go to with the vodka. Like there will be so many times like, oh, I want to drink this whiskey. I don't really have a mixer. I don't want to do it straight. Like, vodka, you don't have that problem.
No,
you have
exactly.
Any other type of liquid in the house, you have a mixer for vodka.
Yeah, water is fine if it's a good vodka.
Water, tea, milk, juice.
Yeah,
you gotta do it.
Well, I don't know. There's some things like that rum serves better for, but
sure.
But again, it's like. Yeah, no. So, but no, I'm not getting paid. Like, honestly, I was listening to the Art of Wrestling podcast.
Sure.
Cabana did a live show, and then he's like, live show concludes, he does his plugs and events, and then like ads play, and then he comes back on. Oh, you're still here? Well, yeah, I'm of course trying to get all the ads I can into this show. It's respect. If he only did a podcast every week, I'd pay for the Patreon. It's like
exactly.
I would not have Spotify if it wasn't for the same Obama podcast commercials constantly. They would have, if they had a variety of commercials, they'd been screwed because it's like, oh, that's interesting product. Okay, I suppose. No, I don't need to hear Michelle every 3 songs saying, listen to your podcast. Thanks, Obama. Like, I'll pay the $10. I don't want to hear you again. So, all right. Well, I think we've done enough yakking and joking about. It's 5 p.m. So we're just under 2 hours. So we have, of course, Couchman Bakes on Twitter for Andrew's social media. Primarily, though, the TikTok star.
Yes.
So, is that still at Couchman Bakes on TikTok? Or
yes?
Okay, because I know you had the class squad.
Yeah, I changed. I went under one umbrella. I am the Couchman all over the place.
Yeah.
Couchman Bakes.
Right. Oh yeah. No, I'm trying to fix everything now with CatBusRuss. It's like
you have a lot more blanket area to cover than I do.
Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, now it's like trying to fix it. It's like, oh shoot, I really got to kill the Podbean feed altogether. It's like, I think people will come regardless where I'm at, but and ladies in general. But I digress.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. So, yeah. So you can follow the podcast at CatBusRuss. You can find out what the next episode might be by following me on Letterboxd. Username CM Darth, the one I could not get over. Shoot! I really should have leaned. Like, I did not have I quickly did a Star Wars gimmick wrestling wise because I had broken my right hand. Right wrist, and then I started wearing a wrist brace over it, and then watched Jedi one night. It's like, yep, just put the glove underneath that. Seth Rollins stole it from me. I'll stand by that. Hey, we're in the same camp, so
I've heard things about him. I've heard.
Hey, he's an odd guy, but he's not a bad guy.
That's basically what I keep hearing.
Yeah, he's still a kid in a lot of ways. Come at me, Seth. You know I'm Shooter Staley. Like that was my thing. It's like, oh, somebody's trying to prove he's real shit, Russ. Otherwise, if you want to be on the show, send an email to russthebus07@gmail.com. That's RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com. Offer me a movie, a film, a director, an actor. Just try to focus on sub 100-minute material. The only thing I have not cracked is Milos Forman of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Man on the Moon fame.
Yeah.
But I will well, now I already did the Jim Carrey episode, so it's like, missed that window. Like, oh, we'll talk about Jim Carrey's smaller movies. And, oh, you wanted to talk about Man on the Moon, which I was not that big on Man on the Moon, but
I appreciate it for what it was.
Yes, yeah. You're right. No, if you want Milos Forman, you go to The People versus Larry Flint.
Yeah, that was an interesting movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. So obviously, rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps. Spotify is doing a lot to help this, so take the hint there.
Insinuation was the word, folks.
Thank you. I hate it when I'm an English major and it's like can't think of it. Not the automatic thesaurus. So, all right. As I say, state what you want to state in the review. Just the 5 stars. Like, basically, yeah. Give somebody 5 stars and tell them all the shit you hate about the show. And that will probably encourage them to, like, oh, well, this guy wants the help. He gave me the 5 stars, gave me some ideas. So, otherwise, talk the shit about the show on CatBusRuss on Twitter, or be hit. Get on Mastodon at Russ Stevens at mastodon.social. So, all right. Well, thank you very much, Andrew, for all of the time today. Thanks for coming with me with this movie. And truthfully, it's not like I don't like, if I can get an excuse to watch Deadpool again.
Exactly.
Right. That's the beauty of this show. It's like, oh, you want me to watch this again? Let me figure it out.
Yeah, twist my arm.
Right. And I'll get it taken care of. So, all right. Anything else you want to plug right now besides TikTok?
Just follow me on TikTok and Twitter, and like my stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, Andrew, and until next time. So, well, as I say, we got Darkman. We still got to figure out Cosmatos affectionately, or I don't know if you
get that figured out.
Yeah,
that's like our grand opus.
Right. Like, I just probably need just one more movie or so. We got Cobra, we got Rocky, we got Rambo 2,
and Tombstone.
Yeah, well, Tombstone is what we're working for.
Right. That's the one obviously I'll focus on.
Right.
Yeah, we got Cobra, Rock. What, I can't think what else he did off the top of my head.
Right. I'm gonna do that real fast. All right, come on. Michael Biehn was in Leviathan. He only directed 10 movies. Come on. Yeah, no, I mean, that's a tough one. We're pretty much going to cover the entire filmography, like it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I already did a Michael Biehn podcast.
Well,
Val Kilmer.
When we did the Big Trouble episode, we covered a lot of the John Carpenter. So I mean,
and of course you got Kurt Russell there too. So it's like, yeah. Powers Booth, I guess, might be the key.
I would say Val Kilmer. Even Sam Elliott.
Yeah, Michael Rooker was there.
Because I could talk about Roadhouse all day long too. So I mean,
yeah, Roadhouse. Yeah, well, all right. That's the next project. Is looking. How do we do Sam Elliott? Thank you for smoking. Have you seen that one? Right.
Oh, yeah, I have. Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we will work on that for next time. This will probably be dropping in a couple of weeks. Like, I want to try.
Sure.
Stretching things out. Like, oh, if I could actually bank stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let me go and stop the recording. Sorry for. Oh, all right. Formal ending. Thank you, Sasha Harden, for looking after my ass the last 19 years, and hopefully you're squeezing the shit out of the one-eared angel skimble shakes. There we go. All right. Thank you very much again, Andrew.
Hey, no problem, dude.
All right.
Can I hear a wahoo?